won the coin toss today.
Go on then, you go first.
Rob, good morning.
Good morning.
How have you been able to select Aaron Ramsey? Because it wasn't looking good, given the injury setbacks he's had over the last 5-6 months.
Yeah, it's not been ideal for him. He's had a few setbacks, but if there's a chance of having him involved in the squad, then I'm going to take it. I'm going to name him in the squad. So irrespective of what happens on the weekend, at this moment in time, he's on the grass this week. And his rehab back to full fitness has gone to plan. So, like I said, if we've got a chance of getting him fit, the last 2 camps, we've had him in and around the squad, even though he's not been able to play a part. So to have somebody of his stature be involved in and around the players anyway is beneficial for us.
He'd do that anyway. He'd come into the camp. We know that.
Yeah.
We know what being part of Wales means to him. The fact that you've put him on that piece of paper, which you've shared with us, means you really think, it's not a chance, you really think in some way you can use him against Finland or against Poland or Estonia. How do you think what is the most likely way of you being able to use Aaron Ramsey?
Yeah, you're right. When you've got somebody of Aaron's quality, like I said, if I've got a chance to get him in, I'll put him in the squad. So we'll get him on camp and we'll assess. We've already had conversation with him. Don't forget, our medical team are based in Hensall, where Cardiff trains. So, we see him. We have eyes on him every day. So that's the luxury. That's the luxury we've had of being in the same vicinity. Then, so if it's if it's a bit part of the game, and he can have an impact with the quality he's got, then great, we'll use him for that. But he's still got a lot to offer, and while he's still got that potential to give us minutes off the bench, maybe, then we'll use it.
One of the things with Aaron is he's always known his body. So yes, with obviously Sean, who's based at the same place where Cardiff City are, there's a lot of back and flow, and Aaron knows his body as well. From what you're getting, what is Aaron telling you that he's able to do? Is it, I can do you 20 minutes, I could maybe do you 45. What are we looking at the moment?
No, times have changed now, Garrett, haven't they? So we're not back 2-3 years ago. You look at the quality of players that we've got, the strength and depth that we've got. We're not just fully focused on that. What I'm concerned about is getting Aaron involved in the squad. If he's fit to get involved in the squad, it doesn't matter whether he can start a game or he can come on for the last 15 minutes. When you now look at the other names on that squad that I've given you, there's a good selection headache for me to have. All the forwards that we've picked, all the front players that we've picked are playing well and scoring goals. So it's a good problem to have.
Talking about good problems, with you being able to put Aaron into this selection, the fact that a number of other players are playing lots of now minutes for their clubs, where are you? Where are you compared with going into other camps where you've had to manage players, you've had problems? These are arguably potentially the 2 biggest games of your career and of a lot of the players' career. Where are Wales?
Yeah, probably in the most healthiest position we've been in. Domestic minutes, players coming in now. It's probably the healthiest position we've been in with regards to the minutes they're playing and playing well. So thankfully they took on board what we asked them to do in November when we left the camp, and they've gone out and played games. And not only playing, but like I said, playing well and scoring goals. Kiefer in particular, scored against Cardiff on the weekend. Brodie was playing well up until his little setback, but he's back fit. Wes Burns is doing really well, scoring some great goals and having an impact off the bench. But again, it's a championship level, playing really well. And then I went to watch JJ and Brooksy last week, Birmingham against Southampton. Brooksy was outstanding, set the goal up, scored the goal. Brennan scoring in the Premiership. H doing really well, having come back from injury. So we're in a good place. We understand the importance of the game, and the good thing is, Garrett, we've been here before. So 2 years ago to the month, we had a playoff against Austria, and we were successful that evening. So the majority of the squad have been exposed to pressurised situations, and to us, from the first day we meet up, it'll be as normal as possible we can make that camp.
What is that? You mentioned there's similarities, but what are the differences now? With you're on the cusp of getting to the Euros. There's been a gap now in international football. I think the last time I probably saw you, we were in Hamburg for the draw when that group came out: France, Netherlands, Austria. But what is the prize on offer now? You've got to, you don't need to ramp yourself up, but you will understand now that the focus turns away from domestic football onto you. What is the prize at stake here? With you know what you're going to Germany if you get there, you know what you're facing. What is the prize for this team? A 3rd successive Euros.
Yeah, incredible. Look, 2 years ago we said this, we had the same conversations. It was, the importance of the games and the carrot at the end of it was the World Cup, and we got through it. The carrot at the end of these 2 games is another Euros. So in Germany, we've been over, we've had to go over and anticipate that we're going to qualify and look at the training venues and the hotels, and that's all been organised, ready. We've had to forecast we're going to get qualified. The difference is with these there's a second game 5 days later. We haven't got the luxury of a couple of months gap. But the squad's different to what we had back then. We had probably 4 or 5 senior players that it probably worked in our favour by having that bigger gap in between. Now we've got a lot more youth in the squad, so the demands that are going to be put on the players for these 2 games, I think will, it won't be easy. Don't get me wrong, but we'll be able to cope with it a little bit easier than 2 years ago. Okay.
Morning, Rob.
Morning, Rob.
How much has Aaron Ramsey actually driven this selection to be included in the squad? Because Cardiff were equivocal. Unequivocal. They thought he'd be out for a month. One of those words, anyway.
Not easy.
They thought he'd be out for a month, and then suddenly he's back on the grass. How much has his desire played a part in this, and what talks have you had? I know the medical staff are together in some ways, but would you be comfortable with him playing without having played a minute for Cardiff in the derby on Saturday?
Well, we've had to do it in the past, Rob. We've never had that luxury that we've got today. When I said earlier at the start of the press conference that this is the most healthiest position we've been in regards to players playing domestic football. I'm actually for once now wanting them to play a little bit less. If they get to the hour mark, take them off. Make sure they're not on for the latter stages of the game. So previous to this, we've had to manage players coming in on camp that are not playing. So I'm not concerned about that. Aaron knows his body. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get himself fit. Sometimes injuries change from the first instance. They can change overnight. So there might have been a difference in the diagnosis. I don't know. We'll have more detailed conversation on camp next week. But the other thing he wouldn't do is he wouldn't just make himself fit on camp. If he wasn't fit, he wouldn't do that to himself and he wouldn't do that to the squad. So there's obviously justification for him putting himself forward. And like I said, if I've got a chance of getting Aaron fit, I'll take it.
His clubmate Ruben Colwell has been with the under-21s, but I know you've been impressed with his attitude there. And he seems to have been managed well enough to come back into your squad now. Absolutely.
When I was under-21s manager, we'd done it with Harry Wilson. So Ryan sent him back down with me for one camp, 2 games, and he was outstanding. Led by example, played a big part in the results that we had, and his attitude was outstanding for the younger ones to see. So when you're identified as a potential talent that's going to play for Wales further down the line, when you work with the 21s, you're still in the system. So that was a message to Ruben, that was a message to Luke Harris, that's a message to every 21s lad that comes up, the Charlie Savages of the world, the Joe Lowe's of the world. You going down isn't a negative. You're still playing international football. You're getting that cap accumulation that we want them to have. And at the right time, we will then introduce you back into the first team. Because of the importance of the 2 games, or the one to start with, I think it's important that we get a bigger squad. I've picked a bigger squad than normal. I don't want to, if the first result goes well for us and we pick any niggles up, then have to call players in. I want them there from day one on the camp. So Ruben's done well at Cardiff. He's earned the right to be back up with the senior team, and we'll see how it goes on camp again.
And likewise, Charlie Savage is having to cope with all sorts of off-the-field things at Reading as well.
Yeah, not easy for Charlie, but he's shown maturity above his years, and credit to him for that. And when called upon, he's played well and done his part. And that's all he can worry about. Charlie can only worry about the football side of it. He can't get involved in the politics and what goes on off the field. He just has to stay fully focused on what he can control, and that's playing games of football. The last game he played for us against Gibraltar, I was really impressed with his energy and his quality, and the ball in for Kiefer's header was very good. So we see the potential, but it's managing him through this period in his life and his career as well. So to have him back in with the senior team, again, it's like club environment. So if I've got an under-23s team, every now and again I will bring the players up and keep them with the squad. And it's no different with Charlie, Rubes and Joe.
You've got 2 players set to earn their 50th caps.
Yeah.
Ethan Amadou at a ridiculously young age.
Yeah.
What can you say about those 2, and Ethan in particular?
Well, I mean, they're both incredible lads. They really are. Both at Leeds together at the minute, DJ and Ethan. It's an easy one for me living in Sheffield, so I thank them for that. There's four lads there. But they're playing really well. Ethan's playing at the back with Joe at the minute, and the partnership is incredible. DJ's, before his injury, was at good form and recently scoring again, but scored a few goals. So as lads, they're great lads first and foremost. But for what they've given to us, for the country, you know, Ethan's still a young lad, and to potentially get his 50th cap against Finland is an incredible achievement. And as DJ, a little bit older, but no, they deserve all the plaudits they're going to get from that achievement. And I'm just grateful again to be a part of it when they do get that milestone.
Ethan, a future captain, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's captain of Leeds at the minute, a big club in Leeds. He can play a multitude of positions. His attitude is first class. He's always got a smile on his face. He's great to be around. Leads by example, on and off the pitch. So he's a model pro and definitely a future captain.
And last point, I suppose the only downside on the squad is you've got 4 goalkeepers, none of whom are playing for their clubs. How disappointing is that? And how do you cope like that? It
is disappointing, Rob, yeah, but you know, we all we can do is try, and we've asked players to go out and play minutes. I get it. When I put my players' head on, I get it. You know, it's not as easy as to just leave a football club when you've got a considerable amount of time left on your contract. So it's not that straightforward, unfortunately. There are some politics involved in it, so I do get it, but I can't control that now. We've had this situation in the past, and we've dealt with it in the main okay. So it's not ideal, but I've got to focus on the positives, and the positives are all the other 10 outfield players for the first time are getting the minutes that we want. So we're in a far healthier position now than what we have been ever before.
Hi, Rob.
Lawrence.
How are you feeling going into this? How are the nerves? How are you holding up?
All right, fine. Yeah, I think I'm quite relaxed. Got to get this weekend out of the way. Speak to me on Monday, and I'll be in a different position. Hopefully having everybody turn up on Sunday on camp and fully fit. So we've got one more weekend to get through. But at this moment in time, I'm pleased that everybody's playing minutes. I'm pleased at the form that they're in. And I'm looking forward to the next challenge, which is a big game on Thursday, a sellout crowd. And I know the lads will be up for it, absolutely. When you look at the home form and the home performances against Croatia in particular, but even the last game in Turkey, and again on another night, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, and you guys that were there will agree with me that we could have had 3 penalties on that night and won the game and had a W next to the result for us. But it wasn't to be, but I was really pleased with the performance. So we're confident going into this. We're in good form going into this game. So we're full of confidence, and we need to come out the traps fast and take the game to them from the first minute. So we're all looking forward to it.
And just looking at some of those players that went out on loan, Kiefer Moore in particular has just grabbed hold of the championship by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah. And you know, Kiefer's going to score goals, whatever level he's at. If you play a certain way for him that suits him, you know, I was going to say balls in the box and with his capabilities from headers, but you look at the goal he scored against Cardiff on Saturday, was a left foot strike across the keeper, and a very, very good finish. So we've got, at the top of the pitch, we've got good problems. You know, for once now, I'm looking over my shoulder on the bench, and like I said, you've got Brennan scoring, Brooksy was outstanding last week, like I said, and people like Wes Burns and Brodie playing really, really well at the top of the championship as well. So it's a great problem to have.
One player that's been making a bit of a splash is Lewis Kumas. Was there a thought in your mind about maybe bringing him to the seniors this time?
No, I mean, look, for what he's doing at Liverpool, he's doing really, really well, and he's on the right tracks. Of course he is, and Matty's here today, and we work really closely with Matty and the 21s, and you know, if he's on camp, and when he's on camp, there'll be moments where we might bring him over for training and introduce him that way. But look, all he's got to focus on is continue to enjoy his football, develop in the way he is, and the rest will take care of itself. It'll be inevitable that at the right time, he steps up. Because I think I've shown in the past that if I see a young lad with potential, I love getting the young lads up and being part of the first team.
And just finally for me, how important is it for you personally and for the association to be at those Euros in the summer?
Well, I think for everybody involved with Welsh football, because we've got a team and a squad of players now that are used to qualifying, and they want more of it. You know, look, we've had since after the World Cup, and looking back at the campaign as a whole, yeah, there's a couple of results that stand out, one in particular, but outside of that, we're on the right path. And in the meantime, we're trying to continue to find these young players and these gems that we're going to develop and be the next 5-10 years for Welsh football. So we're on the right track, and we've got a group of young, hungry players now that want that qualification for another Euros.
Okay, thank you. SOC next.